Hello and welcome to this book review for Adrian Tchaikovsky's Dog of War. I have to go back a little bit because the camera doesn't catch it from too close. Which is an interesting one. It's not too big, by the way. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's not that big of a book. I was in the library and I was like, all right, let me see something interesting. I like Tchaikovsky. I've read a bunch of his stuff, a few reviews there. So I thought, all right, let me see Dog of War and see what it looks like. And the idea of Dog of War is that humanity has helped animals evolve a little bit, and now they're using them for like other purposes. So we follow a squad that is led by a dog, and they're kind of like Marines or mercenaries, whatever you want to call them, as they go into sort of a war zone. We see how they act, and and I enjoyed the idea, right? It's like if we evolve animals and they have certain traits, how do they become if they're forced to function as people? So that was kind of a cool trick, like idea to the book. And what happens is we get to see what if this unit is separated from their commanders and they have to think for their own? Because, it's a dog, so he's told exactly what to do all the time. But what if he and there are other animals, they don't have any more orders and they're in a war zone and things are happening? Like, what do you do? How do you think for yourself? So I want to start off with the positives for the book, which is that it starts very strong. Like, it's very interesting. But there is some stuff from the beginning, like, holy crap, that's pretty dark, but well done. And I like that. I really enjoyed what we get from that. And because there are different animals, we also see how different animals have different agendas and ideas. Because, dogs are one thing. I'm not going to tell you what the other animals are, but, dogs know loyalty and listening, things like that. But other animals, maybe not the same. So when you're giving orders, and you can see how the chain of command works, which is very cool because each animal has its own personality. And I like how we're shown how the animals are controlled, but it's mostly done through the dog. Like, good dog, he's happy. Bad dog, oh, he's sad. And how that sort of feeds into his psyche, and it keeps him from doing the things they want him to do and staying away from thinking for himself, which is cool, like the way manipulation works out. And when they do separate from their group, how they start thinking for themselves, and they start thinking, wait, is this right? Is this wrong? I mean, I'm being told this, but I'm feeling this way. How is that possible? And that was really cool. Like, it's kind of like, in a way, if you had brought aliens and made them and they get to learn morality, it's done that way, but it's a little bit more identifiable, a little bit more understandable, so I like that. But despite the fact that I did enjoy the first half of the book, I devoured in like a night. I just stayed up reading it. I can't say I loved the book because, unfortunately, halfway through the book, whereas we follow this very clear plot line, everything, exactly as we were expecting, the second half it's not like that at all. We go from what was people, dogs, animals, whatever, realizing who they were and what they feel and right and wrong, into more of ideas. How do they fit in society? What can they do? And things like that. But it's not done in a way where it's a story. It becomes more of like as if this was written by an essay. Like, how would these creatures go into the world? And here's my bullet points. Here's positives and negatives and things like that, rather than us seeing it as a novel. So I felt like it became more of a research sort of thing, more about ideas than story. And I didn't like that at all. I just didn't feel like it was very interesting the way it was done. We also start seeing the time start blurring. Whereas before, the first half, it's like, 2 weeks or a month or something. Like, it's a very set amount of time, and you can tell like day by day what's happening. And the second one's like years went by, and then you read, and then 2 chapters, years have went by, and then if you, it's been a decade since this event, and you're like, holy crap, like, we're accelerating. And I feel like this is something that Tchaikovsky does with some of his stories. I don't know if you've read Children of Time or the one Children of Ruin, where at the end they're like, yeah, we've assimilated all the creatures and now we're an AI bonded to spiders, squids that can go underwater and live anywhere. And you're like, the first 99% of the book didn't have that. The last 10% has this weird evolution thing that happens decades and millennia. And this is the same thing, where as the second half begins and we go through, the book accelerates faster and faster and faster. By the end, you're like 50 years ahead of where the plot started. I didn't like that. And I just didn't feel like it was done well. So despite the first half of the book being very 10 out of 10 and perfect, the second half to me felt super average and meh. And I wouldn't read it again, is the truth. So because of that, I don't really recommend Adrian Tchaikovsky's Dogs of War much. I think it's fine. I enjoyed reading it for what it is, but I'm not. If I read it again, I'm just going to read the first half and call it a day. And that's kind of what I expect a lot of people might do if they pick it up. That's why I recommend, honestly. But it is worth it for that first half, and that's why I like it. So that's my review. It's an amazing first half followed by a very disappointing second half. Whether you like that, maybe you like the second half a lot more than me, but you don't even like the first half. Who knows? But that's my thoughts, and I hope to hear from you guys. See you around.